We are live November 12th, 2025. We are live November 12th, 2025. Doke. Let's see what we can do, guys, gals, everyone, folks, we, I. There we go. We have content. Alrighty then. So we're looking at CMCT, and we've outlined three stocks for the day that may have potential. I'm not sure about LPTX. LPTX has been hitting up the scanner, the Zendu scanner. It states that it's a 33 million float, but yet it's not showing up in my scanners at all, which is weird. So we're still looking at it. And then AMZE is another one. This one was moving up in pre-market. And, well, we're still in pre-market. Earlier, but we didn't take any trades. We're still looking at it. And then AMZE is another one. This one was moving up in pre-market. And, well, we're still in pre-market. Earlier, but we didn't. All right, looks like we may have gotten the technical issues out of the way. So let's take a look at the three stocks that we have. So here is AMZE, and it looks like it has room to, well, even more here, to about 186. But it first must climb, of course, and it looks like on the daily like it is doing a return, but right now it's going way down. So we'll have to wait and see. LPTX looks like it's rising, but it has to rise above this little clump right here. And that appears to be its high resistance level. And it may, there we go. And there may even be more resistance back here before I'm looking at. So, and so So I would say wait for that too. Actually, for all of them and for the entire market, I would say just st- um, okay, I was getting a nickel there, trying to get rid of it. Yeah, it looks like it wants to rise. LPTX. That may very well be the stock to bet on. But at this time, what I'm looking at, as far as the market is concerned, and you guys should be able to see that. Let me see. Let me bring up that window. Here's the market. What I'm looking at. The VIX is only off $1 off from yesterday. The SPY's a little bit of red. I mean, it's a good number. Nvidia's at a good number too. Um, but I don't know if we're gonna get the uh, excitement today. That's what it's looking like. We got a nice level there. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm still under the weather. Trying to make sense of everything. In our zero lag here, the volume has to remain above a certain level. I would say about there, and it has to climb as opposed to heading down. So I don't know if I'm going to take any trades, at least from what I'm seeing here. And the reason I haven't taken anything in pre-market is because I can't use my template, my stop. And as I'm looking here at LPTX, look at all the resistance around right before 64. Looks like they got a. Looks like they're moving out. But there's either a hidden sellers there, or people are only coming on and waiting for a higher move. And the buyers here in the bid are not lining up. CMCT, you notice I drew trend lines here. Yeah, it fell. I knew it would consolidate, and I'm looking for a move up here. But it's high priced, and a line is yellow like it's consolidating. And the volume down here, the histogram still hasn't risen. So we have to go above this line here at least. So I think at this point we have to look at that 3 solid red bars. There are no, there's lots of Fed speeches today, so folks might be just waiting on that to get a clue. And this morning might be slow. Might have to wait past the open. Yeah, Kim, I saw your text. Hopefully to help someone, but I don't know if today is going to help. My fever doesn't help. Yeah, so I'm looking at the SPY coming down a little bit, about a less. It was at 685 something. It's just hovering that. And market sentiment is important. Another thing I do that is look at Yahoo Finance, and right over to the right hand side they have a quote lookup, and they have a quick view of the market. They'll show the S&P, the futures, the Nasdaq, and on the second row they'll show the Russell 2000 and the gold and the VIX. So the Russell 2000, of course, are small caps, and that seems to be up, but only slightly, 0.33%, which is a good thing. Earlier in the week, the Russell 2000 was below. Gold has gone up to 41.31, which means people are moving off to gold because they're still not sure, even though there was some excitement over the last couple of days over the government shutdown going away. The other thing is you have to consider things that are going on in the world, right? So with the shutdown, there's lots of noise out in the media about flights being delayed or canceled. And with Thanksgiving coming up, folks may be leaving their spots, trying to get out sooner to get a jump ahead to make sure that they don't get stuck in an airport, a day or two before Thanksgiving, and they can't get home or wherever they're headed. So we have to watch that. Another thing I do is very early in the morning, if I happen to wake up around 1:30 a.m. Pacific, is take a look, and the bell, and we're off. We're off to the races here. So I'm just gonna hold and take a look, and just what I suspected on CMCT. But I'm not gonna jump in on the excitement of 6:30. It's a high price stock. Well, it's not the one of the low ends that we like. I think $2 to $6 is reasonable. $10 is dangerous, and the market hasn't shown today that a $10 stock is going to go all the way up to 20, like it happened earlier in the week. So we got to let the market lead us. The market, we got to, think of it as a lifeboat. You climb on the lifeboat and you're traversing the market seas, and you got to let the market lead you to where it's going to head. But anyway, what I was saying, I wake up at 1:30 and I look on the mobile and I take a look, and there were only penny stocks moving, which wasn't good. I also woke up around before 5, and I looked again, and the same thing. I didn't see any huge movers like we saw earlier in the week. Yeah, and there you see CMCT. Folks were going to take their profits. LPTX is remaining. Okay, so AMZE might be another option. So let's take a look at our bracket here. This might be a little too high. Let's look for 10 cents up and 0.03 cents down. Okay. Volume is picking up. Let's go with 500 shares. Let's hear. What happened to our 5-minute here? This doesn't look like it's looking to go above $1. $6.32 is just 2 minutes past the open. Okay, SLRX making moves, and it's below BWAP. And even though it has a nice move, we know what typically happens on BWAPs. We'll try to head up and then head down. Oh, look at that. Nice number. This is trading like with large numbers in both the bids and the asks. And it almost doesn't look like it's moving there. But it's just hitting the $0.50. And I looked at this on the daily and I put resistance levels up here. And I think 186 was the high. I don't see it going beyond that. I'm not excited about it. And the reason that I'm being cautious is because I put out a recap for Monday afternoon. I went in, I wasn't feeling it, yet I jumped into this stock and lost $83, which was 80% of the winnings for the year, for the month. Sorry. See, I'm so confused. So we're going to continue to watch. One thing I can show you guys is this. One of the things I find difficult to do is to be turning my head from one monitor to the other, to be watching or creating charts to watch other stock. And look at SLRX. Look at the 133 tick chart down here. is in the bottom left hand corner, I have the watch list, and this is what I'm watching. And down here, if I put stocks on my P&L watch list, I'll be watching. So here I can see AMC is at 78, so it's dropped. Look at CMCT, it's down below 9. LPTX, it's at 66. And then that's how I can quickly jump in to a stock if I feel that it is warranted. Yeah, and here's SLRX, and that's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen. So you see a stock, well, let's see if we can. All right, there's a nice belly forming here. That's the distance between the VWAP and where the price lines, the EMAs are, right? So it's a nice belly. And what will typically happen is, of course, you get excitement, you get news, the stock will move up. It'll try to move up to VWAP, but it'll fail. And it can fail multiple times before it goes back up again. So this is where we're at. All right, so here we go. LPTX finally took off, and I've drawn a fuchsia color line here because that's our maximum level of resistance there. Now let's take a look at the numbers. The numbers are looking better with 11,000 at 72. It's gone past this trading, and it looks like it's going to climb. So, did this thing have news? Okay, earnings. And earnings typically isn't enough to make a stock jump a whole lot. So I think we missed the move on this here. Okay, it looks like it has legs. I just don't like it. Long tail wick there. And it's 638, so gotta let the excitement. Yeah, a lot of sellers, 34, 35,000. And down here, that little heading of this cloud starts to close. The same thing down here. A lot of red here. Red. The 5-minute looks good. Excuse me. So the purpose of going live, of course, is to help others and to showcase that what I do as a trader. And over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've learned a lot of discipline to stay away from trades that may not make it. I still don't like the numbers on LPTX, but there's a certain point where you can buy high and sell higher, right? So let's modify our template. Risk 3 cents. I don't think it's going to have 20. I think maybe 9 cents, but no. Yeah, now we have a little red dot here, and our histogram starts to show to the downside. So what we'll do is we'll wait. So what we want to see is a move to the downside that goes below this trend line here. Here's the prior histogram, and this is the histogram we're on now. So we need to see that lower so that it'll gain liquidity, and then it'll go back up again. Though the 5-minute chart still looks very good for volume, and so does the 133 tick mark. But if you look at the time in sales, it's slowed down. The number of buyers are meeting each other at that point, but in large quantities. And our little trend reversal is now telling us this pattern here looks bearish. And that confirms what we're seeing here. And there we go. So our histogram has hit our possible line and is falling below. So now it's 6:41. 10 minutes have passed. And this green candle bar is picking up here, but we can't be sure that that is the histogram. So I'm going to wait for that bar. Because typically what this will be here, it'll be shorts buying up because they know it's going to fall. Yeah, so if you bought into this candle thinking that it was going to make the new high and go up, look at this red candle. So now you've lost, and the histogram is pointing south and now deeper. But there still looks, the 5-minute still looks like volume is okay. But red volume there. Red is increasing. So what we can deduce from this is that this stock has successfully set up a new channel and is now trading in that channel there. And we have to wait, and because this is new territory, we might want to wait and see for a pullback before jumping in, or see more volume. And we've got a couple of tails here on the 133 tick mark. And this is mirroring what these bars did, coming back down, but it could just be, well, let's see here. Let's draw a line there. And see if it pulls back to here, to 67, before going back up again. A similar pattern is here. We had 2 red bars, green, 2 red bars, comes down for about 5 minutes before it picks up. And there's a reversal again. So let's let it reverse. And this confirms the reversal. And now what we want to wait is, since this is histogram is a downward trend, we would want to wait for this to go back up and recover. In the meantime, as I glance over at CMCT, it's down to 8. AMZE just couldn't get past 80. So this looks like it has 3 or 4 minutes to stew. So let's look at AMZE, which is still the top gap. Yeah. So this is showing a trend that it wants to go lower. Even though right here it looks like it's moving up. And look at the volume on the 5-minute. It's just a downward spiral. So, and look at that. People just aren't interested in it. They might be interested later, but we're not going to do anything on that. So now LPTX is holding, and now it's moving back, and it's picked up. And let's see, we got our 500. Let's jump in on the bid. We got filled. We're going to bring back down our sell because we don't think it can go. You can see here 11,000, folks. And we've got plenty of room here, but we're risking $14 to make 10, which isn't nice. So, well, let me move that out of the way here. So it's starting to come down. The histogram it really isn't holding it, but the 5 minute and the 133 tick mark 10 seconds still looks good. And there we go. Starting to move up. And I'm going to take my profits if I can. $6.34. And now we'll watch this trade and see what happens. It might go, but I just don't feel comfortable. And the reason being, remember I drew a blue line down here in this channel that it was trading, and I said it defined a new channel. And of course there's excitement, there's shorts buying, bulls buying to the upside, and built a new channel, right? So my thought is that it set up a new channel here, but not up here. So this is new territory here. So the question is, how much higher will it go? And let's take a look at the daily here. Well, we actually have good territory. So I'm going to mark that line there at 84 cents and give it a blue sky designation. At least because if it does hit above 84, then the upside is whatever this bar is, 373. Get rid of some of these lines. Alright, so it surpassed that line, so that line becomes support. Let's make that a little thicker. Alright, so you see I took my profit right here. Yeah, it did climb to 77, but if I wasn't fast enough, which today I don't feel fast enough to catch it, that's why I'm using the template, then I just take my profit and I let it fall back down, which is, we knew what's going to happen. It's just too high up here. And then down here below, we can see again that it is, histogram is turning down. And look, we took a trade when the MACD was actually red. And we actually made a little bit of money, but that was based on the volume. The volume is what entices to go in and take that trade. And we didn't, let's see, about $400 is what we spent out of our settled funds. So let me update my settled funds. And it looks like it wants to go again, huh? every time I do that, it resets the chart. That's looking very nice. 45-degree angle up to the top. All right, so if this is going to take off for us, we probably want to see it be upwards of 84 cents there. This is going to be a difficult area for it of resistance. And we can quickly take a look at what's happening and on the market, and the market's coming down. So see the SPY 683, Nvidia down to 192, $3, a couple of bucks for the SPY. The good thing is the VIX is not picking up anymore. Um, Apple's really doing good. They're remaining steady. And I use XRP as a crypto barometer. Though it's not really. You should use BTC, but I don't have more room here. And I want to keep these in here. So that's how I measure. So should I jump in? Should I be looking for more to the upside? And let's see, show the other one. Okay. So this is my gap up scanner. I'm looking at the mark, the bid, and the ask. Of course, the volume. And I sorted by volume uh, because this is where the action is likely going to be. And so out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching these numbers as soon as they turn green and whether they go higher. So remember SLRX was at 156 a little while ago, right off the start moving up. Look at CMCT. And remember what I said, a stock of $10 does not appear today uh, that it's going to go a lot higher. It might do it later, but not right now. And these other ones, this is an interesting one. Lucy makes real strong moves. And it's just been moving up quietly, uh, which is interesting. And what is the difference between this watch list? So this one up here, I increased the shares to 60 million, and it must have a 10% change on the day. And usually it mirrors what's moving up, but you can see there's other stocks in here, and the placement might be different because of those parameters. I'm still looking at volume, sorting by volume, and looking at the momentum up at the top because that's what I want to take. Time and sales up here. I use that for to monitor, and what I basically look is at the color. And while we're talking, you see LPTX moving up, and we're missing it. But the histogram still tells us not to. And of course, the level 2, very important. And this is what I look at here, the asks, and see how they're lined up and at what amount. Like these are very generic hopes who have invested and are just holding long term. Here's what we see close, and here's what we see the bids. And to me, the bids have to match the asks. Yes, I know you're going to tell me, oh, you're missing out, you're missing out. And here I use this same as level 2. It's the quickest way. I don't have to glance at level 2. I can just look here at the numbers. And now that they've expanded these so they're not rounded, and what I can do here, and I'm not professing this software by any means or Schwab as a broker, but I can shrink it down or I can expand it. These buttons right up here at the top, and they allow me to shrink it, especially on penny stocks where you have to have 4 numbers. And this is what I look at. And right now, yeah, it's nice that it went to 80, but it's still heavy to me right here. And we don't see that same heaviness in the bids. So let's look at the excitement. All right, enough of that. Let's do some trading, huh? All right, we're nearing the 7 o'clock hour, which is usually a good thing. We've got good here. Let's do another 500. We have, yeah, we can buy it. Let's do 1,000. Let's live large. And let's bring that back down here to 88 cents. And of course now we're losing. And we got taken out, lost $24. Plus the 6 that we had. So maybe there our stop was a little too close. And we were a little too eager, but I still think this is going to go up. All right, so our chart is stopped for some reason. And Thinkorswim will do that to me every once in a while. And that's what happened. I wasn't paying enough attention to the to the MACD. So what happened here? Look at this. Scrolling down. And we saw a little bit of light here. It looked like it was going to go up. We got taken in. But the good thing is that we went in with our template and we got stopped out. So now let the games begin. So this is where the shorts and the bulls, this still looks bullish to me. I still have room for another 1,000 shares here if I want to lose more money. So let's do it again. Well, let's wait. This is pointing down to me. What is the daily show? Oh, that's right. Remember, 84 cents. Here was our mark. And I spoke about the new channel and trying to build a new channel. And we were hoping that it would pass that 84 line, and that's where we would take a trade. So we goofed on this one. We went in early. Okay, so now we hold back. We were due for a red trade. The other thing I don't do is I don't take trades like right here, folks. Some folks will start jumping in because the expectation is that it's going to pick itself up and go up. We have no idea whether that's going to happen, especially in this market. And we have no idea where the bottom is. And if I was going to pick one, it would be right there. But there's our trend reversal to the downside. So our histogram is down at the bottom. Now this may very well be a 5 minute pullback, which will be a good thing. So if it is, we're gonna have to wait 2, 3, 4 bars before we decide to jump back in. And in the meantime, we look at everything else. AMZE is at 75 cents, and SLRX back down to 138, and CMCT hovering around the $8 mark. So 7 a.m. didn't bring good luck for us. It didn't bring the influx of volume that we were looking, and we got caught in this red line right here on the 5 minute. So wow, Duvan, you're doing really well. By the way, how did you do on DTCK? Because I remember you talking about it, and you asked me about it, and I said, well, it'd be a short-term hold. And then a few days later, I did another recap, and I saw it, and I says I wouldn't be holding it because I wasn't sure about Davis Foods and the price of sugar. And I saw it go up to 650, I think, or 630, and then fall back down to $1.80. So hopefully you got out of that if you were in it. I think that was last week. 50 cents per share in FTCI. Damn. Let's see, FTCI. Let's see what you're trading. $10. Wow. Look at that. Volume has stopped now. Very low volume. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. There we go. Okay. So now we're starting to pick up, so we'll go in again. See if we can get our $24 back. Oops, let me move this. The only thing I don't have here is the halt levels. We may lose a lot more. It's flirting with it. we're gonna break it out. All right. And that's, my friends, how you maneuver the trades. But we still had a losing. We lost 24 and we made some more money on this one. We recovered. So we recovered the 24 plus an additional 16. So that's 40 bucks. I don't think it's going to do much more other from here. And up here I have my cash and the shares that I can trade. So that used up a little bit of capital there. And let's update that. So if we're talking too much, I missed it a little bit. But I'm happy with the $16. It's a step in the right direction, right? We're moving up. So when you guys are looking at those things, it's important that you look at all the indicators and that, well, however you've got your monitor set up, that you're able to look and quickly glance. That makes it easier. So the key here was this blue line 84. So I went in a little earlier, remember? And I missed that. And we went in on that red bar, got taken down, and then we didn't trust it. And that's a natural reaction. But the indicator was here at the cyan line telling us from the daily mark that the resistance level was here and that if it could surpass here, there was nothing nothing else above it. We take a look at it again. There's our cyan line. Our next level of resistance is $1. And those are mostly arbitrary, I think, based on the whole dollar, the half dollar. I doubt that it's going to go to 375. Not in today's market. It could very well have more. And now we look at the active trader, we look at level 2 and time and sales. Look at that. Lots of people lined up at 90 and 93 cents. What do we got? We barely have enough for another less than 1,000 shares. 90 cents. Should we go with 500? Wow, look at that. This may very well be the stock that jumps out today. What I don't like is that it is building a resistance here. All right. I stand corrected. There's a huge buyer that just got taken out. Yeah, double top at 90. Red, 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 red. Good here with good here. Histograms pointing down. It's flattening out. And how you line these up is important because you got to do it in a way so that you can better see. And here you can see how the MACD is flailing with the signal line, but it is trying to close. Just like like a pair of scissors closing up and down pincers. And our histogram is down. And finally hit there. And let's take a look. There's no, the huge buyer is gone. So I think we can expect a 5-minute pullback here. We only have $887 of settled funds. So I'm going to take a break right here. I'll be stepping away from the desk. I'll be right back. Oh, thank you, Kim, for that comment. That's good. And look at where we're at now. Yeah, 90 was about the top. So we had the cyan line as the blue sky possible area where it could go high, but the market is not showing us that this sentiment is there to push something up to $20 or even higher. And it sure collapsed. So in summary, we took our first trade and we did okay. We earned $6. We won $6. And then we were a little too eager. Jumped in with 1,000 shares and we lost $24. But the our template helped us just keep that loss minor to 24. And I think had we moved it up higher, we would have lost a lot less. And then we waited and we saw that it was above our line of resistance and that it might be an open, and volume was looking good. Our histogram was looking good. and we took another 1,000 shares, and we earned back the 24 plus an additional 16. And so that was a good trade. So what do we want to do? We want to build that pattern and apply that pattern to other symbols and other stocks, and to our trading day and our trading strategies, avoiding that FOMO to get in a little earlier and make more money. Trying to get in early. So as I look at this strategy, as I look at these trades that we took today on this stock, it wasn't so much about buying low and selling high as much as it was about monitoring the stock's behavior, its travel, its movements, and seeing where traders were coming in. And if that last trade was about buying high and selling higher, right? And it's one of the most difficult things to do is to gauge, because you have no idea. If you bought down here at 74 cents and you think, oh, well, it's going to go to 90, that's terrific. If you had that foresight to tell into the future, 20 minutes into the future, that it's going to go high, or you have some type of indicator that's telling you that it's going to go that high, that's great. But if you're just using your gut feeling, then that's a mistake. That's one of the reasons why I lost a lot of money between January and April. I lost an average of $300 to $400 a month, 1,600 in those months, which is the largest part of my drawdown. My drawdown is around $2,500 right now, or a little below. And 1,600 of those losses came in between January and April of this year. And it's been a interesting journey to try to discipline that FOMO. So now we look at our watch lists, and AMCE sold off completely down to 73 cents. Well, not completely, but down to 73. That's almost a 20-cent loss. And it's the one symbol that has the highest volume, 178 million shares. Which one has the highest change? Let's see. CMCT. And I think that's because it was probably a low stock and it climbed up, but probably did that in the pre-market. SLRX, which had news, and it appeared to have legs, just fizzled. And I've had issues with SLRX. This is a stock that twice they've had great news, and the first time I traded it earlier in the year, it came out with this terrific news, and I looked at it and I said, wow, it wasn't curing cancer, but it was really good, the news. And I jumped in thinking this is going to go high, and no, I wound up losing about $150 on it. So since that time, I don't read the news. I don't try to interpret what the news is. You've heard the term buy the rumor, sell the news. That's exactly what I keep in my mind. So I know there are a couple of folks out there that swear by news as a catalyst, but that happens in a bull market. And in a bull market, you have stocks moving, you jump on them, and you're carried, and you'll make money, which is great. But if you really want to become a good trader, you have to be able to traverse through when the market is cold, when it's lukewarm, etc. Interesting for me, I'm having a better time now dealing with stocks in these past 3 or 4 weeks in the colder market than I was before. So now I don't have huge capital here. It isn't like, like I've made $150 and it's a nice cushion that I should be protecting it, but it's enough and it's something to be protected, and therefore not to be taken lightly. And as we speak, starting to move up again. for another move. I like this curve up here, but I wasn't going to take it. It just, and now it's way too late. It might go up to $1, but I'm not jumping in the bandwagon just yet. And why not, you say? Well, this is no man's land up here. We have no readings, no indicators to tell us that this stock has room to the upside. The only thing we know as far as news is concerned is that it had good earnings, better than expected Q3 results. And that folks are jumping on it because the lack of anything else. But this could very well be shorts running it up, looking for the ride down. So, and if you've seen some of my recaps, I make a couple of bucks, $2, and I'm out. And for the day, because I want that day to be green, and after a week's time, that adds up. So that red background screen that you see is the MACD crossover, and that it's flailing. And remember, do not mirror trades because they fail. YouTube is 15 seconds behind. So anything you see me do, it's 15 seconds behind. All right, this looks good here. We had 500. Our template is there. We didn't get filled. Let's try it again. Right off the bat, we're down. We might lose everything that we earned. Yeah, $1.09 is kind of high. It would bring it back down here to a more reasonable. Well, we lost everything that we had, and our settled cash went down. But we're still green. I didn't lower it enough to below $1. That was my mistake there. Yeah, that was a very nice move here. I don't know how I missed that. But that's what happens, too complacent. And remember, from the cyan line 84 to $1, that's all blue sky there. Look at that. Our reverse trendle is on the 5-minute telling us it's going down. Yet, thing picked up. I for sure thought this was shorts. Alright, we got enough for 240 shares. Let's do this. Let's just do 6 cents up. So 2 to 1. It looks like we're gonna get stopped out. Let's pull it back a little bit. I'm willing to lose 10 bucks for you guys. 11 bucks. we're gonna get stopped out. Yep, and we're down 1045. Okay, well, uh, that does happen. I've seen folks who lose a lot more money on these types of stocks. So at this time, folks, I'm exporting my sells. I'm down to $150 of settled cash. I've lost $10 on the day, and it looks like it's going to be a red day. Let's see if we can make it green. I've got $150 should be able to buy me some shares, right? Okay, so let's do some revenge trading. Do not try this at home, kids. Uh, all right, 145 shares. To get back into the green. Gonna let this ride, but I'm gonna move up the sell stop. And that's how you do it, folks. I'm down to $9.78 in settled funds. And I am down 31 cents on the day, which isn't bad. So it's the price of admission, right? And look at that. It keeps going higher. So folks are liking this. So if you had the cash and you moved in, good for you. And I haven't seen a halt yet. Typically, that's one of the things that really bugs me is the halts. And the interesting thing is, look at where my resistance line was. And remember, I told you it was arbitrary. What is it set to? $1.07, and that was arbitrary. And I did that long ago. Wow. What's the next line? $1.40. So by now, I'm sure folks are picking this up and they're jumping all over it. Let's see, what can we buy with $9? Oh, I still think it's gonna go. Maybe not. Well, look at the 5 minute and the 133 tick chuck. These things are, man. We can buy 8 shares. 8 shares of a penny stock. The fees are probably going to be more than the 31 cents that I'm trying to earn back. All right, I want to go single here because I don't want to do anything. I want to give it enough room to breathe, but it looks like it wants to go up, or it looks like it wants to go down. One of the two, and but you see the histogram pointing downwards. Maybe a pullback to 92 cents or to 97 cents. So 8 at 97. Folks are lining up at 98. Oh no, don't worry, Kim. We'll have time tomorrow. What's important is that our capital is being protected. I mean, losing 31 cents in a day on the stock market after trading this way in a market that is going down, that's a big win. That's a huge win. Yeah, it took time to sit down and do all of this, but what's the fun in that if you just sit here and earn money and make money all the time? Yeah, you can't get bummed by it. All right, so we're looking at the bar, and more importantly, we're learning. Remember, I'm a new trader, so or I consider myself a noob. Okay, that didn't take. I'm gonna go in market to get filled, and I'm looking to be green on the day. That's all I'm looking for. Now, I wouldn't do this with a lot of shares. I mean, this is only 8 shares here. So we're taking it easy and very mildly. We're not going to lose a whole lot of money. We're not going to make a whole lot of money. The only bragging rights we get out of today, if we can make money here, if we can go green, is the fact that we had a green day as opposed to a red day. But even a red day at 31 cents is not bad. Yeah, huge sellers at 104 and 105. At 7:35. Still way too early. Usually what happens is we see, I think the Pacific coast, the West Coast wakes up around 8 a.m. They jump in and they start running things up. So this is about a play and how you traverse the market, how you attack it, how you work with it. There is the reversal and the MACD crossing down. And I was going to say right before the reversal trend marker showed up, it's either a um, trying to get up or it's going to jackknife down. That's the only two things. And that's why we saw these two large sales, and that's probably this was shorts looking for that downward turn. And again, the importance. How did I measure this? How did I put this trend line down here? Based on this candle right here, the top of that close or open. And then the next one was down here, a little higher than this one. We still got green dots, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a bounce. And down here, again, our histogram is so important. And now we've dropped down. So now remember we were talking about channels. We drew the first one, the second one down here, and then the third one. And obviously it's Christmas treeing down here because you can't do anything. It's building a head and shoulders without the head. There's a nice little boy right here. So it's got a shoulder here, a shoulder there, but no head. And I don't see anything on the Zendu scanner. GLTO looks like it wants to move. It's at 27. CMCT moved up to 840, but I wouldn't trust it. AMZE sold back down to 70 cents and nothing else. And the stock market, meanwhile, the SPY 682, Nvidia 191, all pullbacks. And the VIX is up about 30, 40 cents. So overall, oh really? Well, I started last in 2024 in May. It's when I funded the Thinkorswim account, the Schwab account, with just $50. And what I started to do that for was for the simulator. So I went on the simulator and had plenty of fun. And I did dabble a little bit in May and in June, but eventually, 2 3 months in the simulator was too much because what happens is you go on the simulator and you have 100,000 play money there, and you begin trading on that, and that's not real world scenarios. So I eventually migrated off of that, and I did okay. And in September of last year, I made $435. So it was a great month, and I thought, oh, I'm on my way. And then October came, and in October of last year, I lost 575. Subsequently, November was not too bad. December, not too bad. And then January came, and I thought, the world is mine. But I still was not in control of my emotions. Look at that, $1.20 on it with no loss on this stock. That is awesome. Now you're doing better than me. I'm down 86 cents. And you made $1.20 on who knows how many shares. I'm actually down, about $1. So Um, in my defense, no. Uh, yeah, today I'm not feeling it. I've had like a fever for 3 days and stomach issues, and they don't let me concentrate. But if it isn't about a big win, as long as it's not about a big loss, then in between, what you get is experience. And you get better the more you trade. And that's something that was missing from the trade simulator. But I profess to anyone, I'm not advising anyone to not use the simulator. You have to use the simulator, and then you have to go into the real world. And when you get into the real world, trade with just one share and do it on stocks that are low priced. Because that way you can begin to get a feel for what it is. And you have to do it during the busiest time. So right before open to, I'm talking Pacific times here, between 6:30 a.m. when the market opens or 9:30 on the East Coast, for that half hour or that hour, with only one share to see how you do. Um, because that's the most difficult time when the market's really moving. If you wanted something a little slower, you can try at after lunch on the Eastern Coast, or even in power hour. The problem with those is that the stock market isn't moving quite as fast. And one of the things that you have to do in your software, you have to train your eyes to the speed of all the little windows and indicators and how they're moving. And if you do it when the market is slow, what will happen is that you'll train it at that speed, and when the market speeds up, you won't be able to hack it. Right now, the market is slow. From what I remember in January, things were moving 2 to 3 times as fast as they are now. It's I used to game a lot. I no longer game, but when in playing games, and we used to get a new game, throw it into the console there. The first thing we did was, and I'm talking my son and I, is play at the hardest level. Doesn't matter whether you get killed, however many times, thousands of times, but what, or even on a PC game, like if you're doing a sim on a any type of simulator on your PC, you play at the hardest level because you get then accustomed to that speed. And once at that speed, you'll adjust well and you will play well. And it'll be easier to come down to the lower difficulty levels and be a champion at them. And eventually, playing at the hardest level, you'll get good at it, and it'll seem like nothing. It'll seem like this that you lose that speed. You won't see that speed anymore. Folks, I'm green. I'm green on the day, 45 cents. Now, I don't recommend anyone do this. You notice I took my template out. That's because I didn't want to get stopped out. I went in and I waited, and I saw the top level there, and I exited out. Now, did I wish I had 1,000 shares here? Yeah. But that was a nice trade. I'm curious to see what entries were. So we bought 8 shares at $1.02 and we sold at $1.12. So a 10 cent with a slight 3 cent improvement on the buy, and eighth 1,000ths of a penny improvement on the sell. And now we're in a halt. So now I'm gonna stay for the halt, but I only have $1.58 left, so I can buy one share. And I'm not about to lose my green day. The stream has been awfully good today. The last stream I had delays, and my internet provider is gonna do some updates tomorrow, so I don't know what that'll that'll bring. So in the meantime, I'm gonna upload my files, export my today's trades up to TraderView at 45 cents. That's hilarious. That is funny. Well, look at that. I've got some big winners. Kim made $1.20 on LPTX, and Juan Philippe made 50 cents per share in FTCI. Wow. And you folks are watching me? I should be watching you. Yeah, Kim, when are you going to go live? And Vaughn, I mean, how did you find that stock? That's great. Terrific scanner. Yeah, I'm still a noob at YouTube, so I can't even see how many people are watching. I'm assuming it's only you two guys, so. And I don't have any likes, so 3 watching. Okay, here we go. So you 3 watchers, go ahead and hit the like button. Por favor, please. Excuse me. Oops, let's see. One of the things that comes in handy about Zendu is if I can find it here, is the halts. And sometimes you can get even some good tips from their chat. However, I've also seen tips on the Zendo's chat that are leading you astray. Somebody's trying to pump up a stock and uh, putting it there. So be careful in the chats. Be careful of any YouTubers, including myself, telling you that a stock is going to move up because it's not going to happen. That's really something that's truly important, is that every person, no matter what trading level they are, is that they build their own method of trading, and that they do it on their own. You know, you can use aids, helpers like Zendu or other software to help you along, but the strategy and the ability to go into a trade and get out has to be totally owned by you, and not just because it's your money, but because nobody can teach you how to trade. I mean, I watched plenty of videos before I started the simulator, and that was a quick resume on LPTX, back down to $1, and looks like a pullback. And look at that, it continues higher. Wow. Remember, this has a wide open sky all the way up to 378 if it wants to reclaim the last daily high. And I mentioned I had not yet seen a halt, and there was a huge buyer there at 117, over 100,000, still there, 147,000, and the sellers are also there. So this could turn into a short squeeze. Now it's gone. Yeah, I could use my $1.58 to buy one share, right? Look at that. Craziness. Looks like the market woke up. Remember I said nearing the 8 o'clock hour? Wow. And that's one of the things that's been happening to me. One of the issues has been, especially on these um, penny stocks, is that they'll go up 40, 60 cents, and I'll be playing them up and down and lose the money and not do the right entries, or make a mistake and lose whatever little profit I had, like today. And so that's one of the things I got to work on now. But other than the trade on Monday afternoon, that was a fluke. That was a total fluke outside my abilities. So I feel good today. Uh, did okay yesterday, and today, even though I was down, I recovered a little bit. Yes, I lost a potential $20 profit, but it's part of the game. Now what's happening is we just have way too many bids and asks. They're just fighting over this now, and it may be just exhaustion now. And what'll happen here is it's exactly what'll happen. Sellers and buyers will get tired unless they have the money for another 8, 10 minutes. Well, the one thing we can say about today is that we picked the right stock, LPTX. So we identified a stock that had the possibilities of moving up, and we jumped in and we made a little bit money. We couldn't um, optimize our entries to have better gains, but at least we avoided catastrophes on AMCE, SLRX, and CMT, which were the other three stocks that were moving, and that could have potentially given us FOMO, and we could have jumped in, but we didn't. We held back at the open. We waited, and we let the market lead us into LPTX as a mover, and by doing that, we were able to make some money, and the 5 minute and the 133 tick chart looks bullish still. And look at that. So this is a good thing for the market. Yeah, huge amounts of bids in the ask. If you look at the top at level 2, man. Now I think it's just overly traded, and it's going to be difficult here to have one win over the other, or maybe not. Wow. I'm not going to make any type of predictions on this stock moving any past $1.50, but $1.40 I think was our next resistance level. Yep, right here. And it looks like it's now trading a new channel right about there. I still like the 45-degree angle here, but this is going to go up, down, and it might go sideways before it moves up later in the day. Or even in 20 minutes. Now the news are telling us that the Dow jumped more than 400 points, but I'm still looking at the SPY, and the SPY is down $3. Nvidia down 4. So, and the Dow doesn't affect us, right? It's not about small caps. Now look at the volume on LPTX. It's now 337 million. It almost uh, 2.5 times what AMZE was trading at. And the interesting thing is it doesn't show up on any of my scanners. Well, let's look. Oh, LPTX. How did I find that one? Zendu. Zendu was highlighting it. I've been trying to mimic uh, Schwab or Thinkorswim scanner to mimic Zendu's, but there's something unique about Zendu's that I cannot find. Yeah, let's look here. So it shows up on this scan here, which is I'm just looking at volume, day, and the close. Let's see what that scan there does. Ooh, look at that, $1.33. Golly. Boy, am I missing out. All right, so it's showing up on a simple where I compare the close of prior day, a daily, and I'm looking for a 1% um, higher. A stock between 25 cents and $10, volume more than 890,000, and the volume is greater than the prior bar, and that's where it's showing up. But I had not, other than that, I didn't see it. It won't show up in here. We have a see low float gap. Low float gaps shows us, but nothing there, so the other ones are a waste of time. Day 2 change. I may have to redo the my scanner then, because obviously that's really good there. Volume is there. The change is there. The shares are 56 million. That might be it, but it should have shown on the 60 million scan. Ah, there we go. That's why. So this is what I was talking about. That you hear folks on the internet say, "Oh, I prefer a 10 million float or a 20 million float, but anything other than that's too big." I sort of expanded it to 50. So this number that you see here in the watch lists, uh, that is the scan. So let me go in and we'll put it back to the scanner that I usually use. I'm looking for 1.3 million. That's this one. Nope. It's this one. Well, what? Why is that empty? That's a specialized scan. Are things moving just way too much? There we go. All right, so up here it's 50 million scans. So let me change it to something bigger than that. Larger, I should say. All right. So here's the new scanner. There it is. So one of the problems with Thinkorswim, of course, is that it doesn't report floats, and the only thing you have is shares. So Yahoo is reporting a 30 million float, but Thinkorswim is reporting 56 million open shares. So since that's all we have, that's what we use in our scanners. And look at that. So 802. There might be another move here, uh, but it looks like a pullback. Small pullback may be coming. And our histogram shows that it looks like it wanted to pick up and it falls down. And yeah, look at the number of bids: 190,000, 200,000, and the sellers and the bidders are not there. At 120, huge seller up there at 120. Right, folks, I'm going to take my 45 cents and run. It's been a total pleasure, and I do intend to do more lives as I get better at streaming and handling everything. So I am glad that I helped out Kim, even though she did a lot better than me. So you folks have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy, exercise, do whatever you need to do to distress and run away from the market. And I will do the same. Tomorrow, let's see, tomorrow is Thursday, right? Hmm. Tomorrow I might just do pre-market. I don't know if I'll do a live because it's I'm a big soccer fan and there are games all day long, starting very early in the morning. So I'm sorry, but soccer precedes the stock market. I don't lose watching soccer as well. My team may lose, right? But I don't lose money. I don't bet. I don't gamble on sports. So we'll see. So like I said, I think this thing is gonna have a pullback here, and it may decide to consolidate for an hour or two. But we're happy. It was a great day. Life is wonderful. Only positive. I'm a glass is always uh, one and a half full. So I I am not a person. I have never known depression. I don't know what that is like, and I would one day like to understand it because there are many folks that suffer from it, and I want to be sympathetic to them. But my my body just doesn't have that emotion, and so I'm always positive, always forward looking, and I don't look back at anything that happens bad in my life or in trading. So It's a good attitude to have in the market because you're going to lose money, right? So if I started crying over the $2,500 that I'm down so far, that would be a problem. And there it goes again, starts to move. But anyway, now I'm hungry. I gotta go search for breakfast. This gorilla has to go cook breakfast. Bananas are not enough. Uh, have a wonderful day. Otherwise, I'll keep talking.